Welcome back, guys, to another Bobby Pins Artist Spotlight. This evening, I present to you singer, songwriter, multidisciplinary artist, Moxie MVMT.
I forgot how love felt when I say I lost myself. Tricked me to believe in things I did not see in you.
Thank you for coming back.
My hair daily, I drink my water, skin is glistening. I go to sleep and never
And of course, if you're new here,
you
can go ahead and watch the IGTV series Artist Spotlight and catch up on some of the other entertainers I've talked to. Or you can head on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thebobbypin. All of these interviews find their way there as well. If you're really loving what you're hearing and what you're seeing, go ahead and cop a badge. You can select that button at the bottom of your screen right now that says buy a badge. It really goes a long way and I would really appreciate it. M Hill 1, you really love this song, huh? This is Moxie's music. This song is called Seasons. And it's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music.
Thank God for this lesson. It was hard, but I learned it. I found out how to catch myself like autumn leaves. I was falling down, Now I oil my hair daily. I drink my water, skin is glistening. I go to sleep and never worry. I spend 8 hours dreaming about my dreams. I was busy.
It's very smooth, right?
Sins, but losing you was such a blessing. Thank you for the season that you came. And now that it's over,
We gotta get my boo back. She was on here talking to us about her amazing journey through arts and entertainment, and I really wanted to capture that the right way, so we had to start it over. So hopefully she'll be able to join us again, and we've worked out all her kinks. But in the meantime, guys, go ahead and enjoy her song Seasons. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. While we get things geared up, feel free to go ahead and hit that share button. Share this with a friend. Don't be greedy. Don't be stingy. Don't keep me to yourself. Go ahead and tell somebody to tune in right now. We're going to get to know Moxie a little bit better. Uh-oh, guys. I hope we didn't lose her.
You took me for granted, pushed me, took advantage. Didn't think I was really as smart as I am. I forgot how love felt when I said
I'm messaging her on the computer now. That's why I'm looking down.
to believe in things I did not see in you. But now I oil my hair daily. I drink my water.
Yes, she's back. She's back.
I was busy counting your sins, but losing you was such a blessing. Thank you for the
Yes. Yes, there's that beautiful smiling face.
Yeah, I think sometimes it doesn't work, but that's okay. But thanks so much for being patient with me. So I'm super excited about this just because I think that I was breaking up again.
I think you sound fine now.
I hear you.
I hear you.
Just to finish answering your question, I think that my sound started when I found my jazz voice in college when I went to Spelman, and it started really initially when I was in church and really singing in church. So for me, I think that it's really been a culmination of my past and my present, and really being able to figure out how to mesh the two and marry the two. And as a theater kid, I've always loved theater and musicals, and then also like doing commercials and stuff also taught me what it meant.
Nice. I love it. I completely relate to what you were saying previously about church. For a lot of Black people, a lot of young Black people, is kind of our first opportunity to express ourselves. I completely share that sentiment. Some of my earliest leadership roles was as like the church trustee for the youth choir, or having the opportunity to coordinate devotion, or just those little opportunities, like you said, to showcase our talents and abilities, where we might not otherwise have those opportunities at school or anywhere else. So I definitely felt you on that.
Church people like definitely are a different kind of people, but like they're always there to like try to build you up, especially, you know, so for sure.
Yeah. So talk to me more about your HBCU experience. It's definitely hot in the news right now. Our vice president elect is a product of HBCU education. So talk to me, little Miss Spelman Knight. What was your experience like?
So that was amazing. Like I laugh and I in general, like I'm a happy person. So whenever I laugh, it's always just me thinking about memories from the past. But no, Spelman was amazing. Amazing does not mean that it wasn't hard. Like going to an HBCU period is challenging just because I think that as Black people, being enslaved within this country and understanding the complexities of that and the code switching and the intersectionality of that, we have to understand that we're always going to be tough on each other just because that's just who culturally we've always been, because we've always been the one that's challenging just because, I think that there's insecurity, not think I know, there's insecurity within the Black community when it comes to colorism, when it comes to culture, when it comes to understanding history, when it comes to what even just to be clear, like what white colonization and white imperialism and capitalism creates within our mind about what it means to be Black, and stereotypes and archetypes of a strong Black woman, an angry Black woman, the hot and tied Venus, hypersexualization, dealing with all that. Yeah, like it's hard because insecurities pop up. People show, their insecurities, but also I think that right now, being in a culture where people are like, I'm canceling people, I think is so wrong, just because I think that what's great about growing up where social media wasn't so dominant as it is now, we are able to, talk to each other and connect with one another, but everything wasn't recorded. Everything wasn't there. So you have room for growth. You have room for discovery. You have room for understanding that there's certain things that you went through that everybody went through in their different ideations of it. But like, it was a great experience because at the end of the day, like I'm proud to be a Black person. And if I can't deal with my own people, if I can't deal with my own women, if I can't learn how to function within space with other Black people, then what am I doing? You know what I mean? Yeah. What am I doing? And it's also about understanding, having the foresight to be able to say, for me, I remember being at a breakfast place around the corner with my dad, and my dad being like, "Why do you want to go to Spelman?" And I was like, "Because it's going to help me become the woman that I am." And he was like, "Okay, then we'll figure this shit out." You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think understanding what you need, foresight, understanding where you are, being present, and also understanding that in hindsight, like you have to understand what it is that you need to grow from and not shy away from challenge. Black people are hard and tough. And there's nothing else, that's just period. And so either you want to be around that or you don't. Either you accept that or you don't. Either you understand that at the end of the day, everybody's not going to rock with you, and it might be for wherever they are on their journey. But I mean, that's what the song's about. Seasons change. I've had different lovers in my life. I've had different friends in my life. I've had different experiences. People are like, open to always be there, but you have to understand it always can take something from what you're learning if you're open to having a growth mind. And so HBCU is like, you're swimming with the sharks. So you either swim. You got to swim, but like, I would never have wanted to be anywhere else. I wouldn't be anywhere else. Like Spelman is the shit.
Yes.
People want to go there. That's why some people don't like it. That's fine. I understand every Black woman's not gonna like me.
Yes.
So I think it's about us accepting that there's complexity to Black and that we're not just one dimension. And like, when we try to use these like words like diversity and inclusion and stuff, just because you're one race doesn't mean that you're all the same. At the end of the day, race is whiteness. And so if you understand that, everything, our hair, our clothes, our food, the way we carry ourselves, the way that we talk, the fact that every Black person looks different. Like, at the end of the day, like I can go in a room with Black people and oh my God, and get my whole life filled like radius.
For sure, for sure. First of all, I want to take a quick second to thank Women for the Culture for purchasing a badge tonight. I do appreciate that. Women supporting women. And to your point of attending an all-girl, or excuse me, an all-woman HBCU. Yes. I definitely, I love that when you came on previously, you built me up, you impressed that sisterhood on me. So I definitely see that it's effective. And I just definitely want to encourage that. I did not attend an HBCU and I kind of felt guilty. I went to PWI. But one of my favorite professional mentors does have a background at all women's schools. And she felt like that is what made her such a powerful leader because she was able to find her footing and find her place among other women. And I think that there is something very powerful to that as well. So can you talk to me about how that helps you as an English teacher, a high school English teacher? You're young, you're cute. I'm sure you get tried every day.
I love that comment just because I think a lot of times like people I think that we have to understand as adults that teenagers are just younger people, younger human beings. Like they just been on the earth less time. And so when you treat them like young adults, then that's how they act. You know, there's like in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I won't even go into the fact that it needs to be written from an intersectional perspective, but it's just a good book. But like it talks about when you name people, when you give people names. And so like as a teacher, you know what I mean? I address my students accordingly. I call them, you know, by their last name sometimes. I like address them, you know what I mean, accordingly. If I need to have a conversation or chop it up with them about some stuff they should have done, I make it very clear. I don't get tried like that because I'm there not just as a teacher, I'm there as a mentor, I'm there as a therapist, I'm there as a counselor, I tell them I'm not your friend, I love you, but I'm not your friend. And the reason why I'm not your friend is because you have enough friends. You need somebody who's going to show you something at a different level. And eventually when you get your degree, then we'll be able to talk in a different, you know, perspective. But at the end of the day, it's really important that you understand that, like, I'm here to help you, to build you, but also to plant seeds. I think that we need to understand that our kids and our youth just really need seeds to be planted, lots and lots of seeds and follow through. And you're going through a human experience as well. I think that sometimes adults, we're not always honest about how much it took us to get to where we are, or honest about the failure we had to experience to get to where we are. Failure of life. And so, like, your question, you know what I mean? Like, it's a culmination of knowing that often, making it clear to them that I want nothing but the best for them, but also following what I have to say to be able to say, you know what I mean? Like, you know, but like, I have a little bit more wisdom and discernment to you. And so these are things that I want to drop into your head for you to understand. You can want what you want, but you have to be that smartphone. You have to be intentional. You can want what you want, but you can't spread all your stuff to so many but it's also you, it all in between. And you have to let go of the notion of what you think it should be or how you. And so those are kind of things that I like to encourage you to read. And also, like, actually starting my plug, like one of my plugs is my nonprofit. I write literacy, and I want to use, just like how, you know, how Genius breaks down and analyzes music and stuff like that. Like, I want to be able to, just like how Solange's album should be, you know, has created a whole class, a course, Harvard, in the archive. That type of stuff is important to understand, that even though Black people don't always have the language, they have the language to get to them.
Yeah.
That's the point, that I really want to be able to use my music to be able to reach my students in a whole different way, as well as to be able to create space for them, safe space to talk, to share, to write, to think critically, to be able to learn how to public speak. So my music is me pockets of very smart Black people have open mics, and them to be able to understand their rest. So that's a big part of the movement as well, the audacity to be oneself. And
I love it. I love it. Another shout out to David Theo for buying a badge. Moxie, you are so empowering. Talk to me about how being a multidisciplinary artist plays into you being a teacher. You talked about not being stuck at failure and wanting to continue to learn and grow. So I'm sure, you know, as an artist, it's pretty challenging. So how are you able to incorporate that in the classroom? Oh, Moxie, it was going in and out, and I could catch like every other word. I can't, this whole statement, I'm not getting it. I can't hear you. I don't know why. Like, I'm reading your lips. That's how I'm able to continue the conversation, but you're definitely going in and out. And I see it in the comments, and I don't want to be unfair to our viewers, but we can't hear you very good. Yeah, you could try that again. Okay. Thank you guys for your patience as we work through this. It's windy here in the DC area, so I don't know how much that's impacting what's happening. And I think someone said in Chicago, where Moxie is, there's a storm. So we're trying to push through this. I appreciate your patience, guys. We're loading Moxie back up now.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I'm teaching my students how to set goals, how to create goals, how to write goals, right? Smart goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and in doing so, that allows them to understand how to break down, how to eat, how to eat by it. Makes sense. And so, like, when I talk about that with some of my students follow me, and so a lot of times I'm very, like, not a lot of times, I'm always conscious of what I'm putting out. I'm always conscious of what I'm saying. I'm always conscious of what I'm winning, because in January, I'm dropping a 20-person cohort for Black Girls Empowerment Workshop. And we're launching on Friday my website for my nonprofit, where I'm, you know what I mean, going to be building content. And a lot of my interns are some old students. A lot of my interns are at different schools. And so they're listening to my music. They're looking at what I'm doing. And so there's a way to culminate how to make them invested by telling them, you have Moxie. What is your Moxie? What is your audacity to be oneself? What does it mean to be determined? Then circling back and being like, listen to this song. What do you like about the lyrics, right? Talk to me, right? And so then there's that. And then on top of that, it's also engaging with them and helping them understand how it relates to them. What does it mean to be your own character? What does it mean to be determined for yourself? What does it mean to have audacity for yourself? And so for me, that's really the three-pronged thing that I want to be able to manifest deeper, just not just with, you know what I mean, my target audience, but also just across all of Black women. Like, that's the to be like, oh, well, you're being exclusive. Like, but yes, I am. Like, this is the time and the era of the Black woman.
Yes.
And so, like, to be able to hit that and understand that, it's really important to be like, we have to connect, we have to collaborate, we have to, circulate. We have to circulate money and thoughts and wisdom and sharing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's about us finding a way, but also making it tangible for this generation. This generation isn't always there just because they're so used to testing. I call them the testing baby generation because they're testing. And so it's like the inference, the critical thinking, the stuff that, and so by saying that I'm a lyricist, by saying I write for, Black women, by saying that I'm telling stories that relate to my life and my experience, I'm making it more tangible for the people that I'm trying to connect with, because I understand that we're always a student in the game. I'm still learning. So even though I'm a teacher, I'm still also learning, and that's a part of the brand.
Yes, yes. Nice. Thank you, Mr. Black, for also buying a badge. Now, we've talked about you as an educator. We've talked about your nonprofit. Now let's get to your music. Talk to me about some of your musical inspirations. Girl, I read some Shaka Khan in your bio. Who inspires you?
Nobody loves me better, makes me happy, makes me this way, or I'm everyone calling me. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. Dun, 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 right?
Woo!
Chicago native, like, she's like the GOAT for real, like, I believe in divas though. Like, I believe that there are divas from certain decades. Diana Ross is a diva. Barbara Streisand is a diva. Cher's a diva. Like, Phyllis Hyman was a diva. Like, Simone was a diva. Angela Bofield is a diva. Like, Patti LaBelle is a diva. Mariah Carey is a diva. Like, there's levels to this. You know what I mean? Whitney Houston was a diva. Like, everybody can't get that status. I know we want to say everybody's a GOAT. I don't really believe that as a vocalist. There's certain women that I think it's all the voice that I have right now. My voice is not of my own. It is a culmination of all the voices that I've listened to, as well as my training. And so I want to be very clear. Shaka Khan is like, not just on a voice level, but like also on a branding level. Like her swag, her effervescence. Being like, Phyllis Hyman sang so many sad love songs, but she was also pop. She was she had of her sickness, right? Because she had sickness. Had not passed away, you know what I mean, through suicide, and when we come to mental health, she would be on the same level, I would argue, as Whitney Houston, because she had a voice like Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, one of those things, So for me, I like classic voices. I mean, Carole King, she was a songwriter. I named that was important. Like, no, she wasn't a Black woman, was not born. You know what I mean? She wasn't. But she talked about not being the prettiest girl. You know what I mean? And so I about those women that are something outside of the box. You know what I mean? Toni Braxton's voice. You know what I mean? He's a too. Like, you know what I mean? Don't leave me in all this pain. Don't leave me out in the rain. Like, those deeper tones. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are what I listen to. That like Ella Fitzgerald, for a 5-octave range, like you know, many had whistle tone like that, like you know what I mean, being able to play, you know what I mean, like I'm always into the practice of it.
Yes.
So craft, you know what I mean. It's about, and not just the singing part of it. Diana Ross, her voice was okay, but she's Diana Ross.
Performer, the entertainer portion, yeah. First of all, girl, you got my wig blowing back. You done gave me the deep cello sound, and you done gave us a damn near whistle. Girl, you cold.
So Pharrell, like, hey baby, like, oh thank you, boo, I appreciate you. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm girl. I throw it in there a little bit, you know, because you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm definitely my constant prayer is humility. That's my constant prayer, and I have the serenity prayer around my neck. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I know that at the end of the day, you can't take it for granted. I just watched like Whitney Houston's documentary, and it's oh my god, like don't know how to like noise around you. It can like be the end of, you know, the beauty you carry. She was such a beautiful.
It does make sense. No, I'm trying to even figure out where to go next, because as much as I'm enjoying this interview, this is like a crash course on so many things. One, humility that you mentioned. You just casually are like giving us this performance. I always ask the interviewer to like sing. I'm reluctant to ask because you've been singing this whole time. But also this, you're schooling us, right? Like I mentioned, I see another previous guest popped back in. I mentioned to him, I feel like so many times a lot of these artists come to me and it's like, oh, I want to interview with you, but like they don't really, you can tell they kind of haven't done their homework. And I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. If you're chasing your passion, like follow it. Everybody's journey is different. But I really love someone who studies. And I hear that in how you're talking. So I'm just sitting here like enthralled.
And I say this whenever I say talk to you, I'm talking to me too. Like I said, me too. For every one thing I know, there's a trillion things I know you don't. For every one thing you know, there's a trillion things you don't. So like when you're in a, I realize when I'm in a state of just I know nothing, I know nothing, I know nothing, and when I'm constantly like I know nothing, I'm always hungry. And so that's the whole conversation of like this industry has taught me like this is I think why I love it so much is because like there's always something to learn. Just like such a baby minnow slash baby shark in this space that like I'm like, what can I do to like, you know, make sure that I present myself when I get these opportunities when I'm on a space like this? How do I not just like share, but also be able to give as much as I can in the face of what I know is a gift that's what of it is like, you know, this is you did the most. Like what how and I think that sometimes that's self sabotage as an independent artist. So I appreciate you like love your way to offer. So, you know, they grow and benefit. Like I love these fucking glasses.
Thank you, Queen. I try to, just like you're saying, be the vibe that you want to attract and maintain. So I appreciate the recognition of that. Tell me, with the jazz influence that you have, where do you feel like you fit into the current music landscape? It's so diverse right now.
Esperanza Spalding, and I think that India Ari, and I think that like those like you know Robert Glasper, like those
Ooh,
are like stuff. So I think that, you know, when we understand music, Janelle Monáe, she's a legacy singer. You know what I mean? She's like putting out records people are gonna listen to and be like, oh, she was talking about something. You know what I mean? I don't what I realize is everybody doesn't have to like it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Like I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And like that's what I'm realizing is the big move. That's the way. Like, so yeah, like I feel like I definitely fit because I love to write records. And you know, here's a perfect example of somebody who I think has been able to be freely just an artist. And she's just amazing. I love to see me off her, you know what I mean, drum. Lady Gaga is able to fall so fluidly within everything. And she plays instruments like I used to play for 10 years, taking piano and guitar lessons now. I taught myself for boys and stuff and been teaching myself. So, you know, I say that to say, you know, she plays piano, she plays guitar, like she did a Tony Bennett record, and then with the ballad, she like does like pop and techno, and then she did off like kind of in the pop vibe, but like it also gave us R&B vibe just because being made by black, you know. So, you know, I think that white women have the freedom, and I will say it, whatever. Like, I think that they have more of the freedom just to be free. I think the pop. I just think that women that are doing that, like the young, able to be open to receiving something that is different. And so, like with that being said, I think that what I'm trying to say, focus on me and understand that the more I put positivity and authenticity out there, the more it will attract people that want to vibe with me. And if not, then that's cool. And if you do, that's cool too. So I'm gonna try to find an audience to connect.
Yes, yes. So, Moxie, what's next for you?
Seasons, you were playing it earlier. I'm super excited about that. I have music that I'm writing for placements as well as performing. I have a show on the 21st. So if you want to see me live, I'm super excited. I'm going to be doing a live show with my streaming. It's going to be in a whole type of energy where there's going to be video, there's going to be strobe lights, it's going to be performance, it's going to be amazing. So if you're trying to look for something just to watch this, like sort of like a vibe or whatever, please make sure to tap into me and like, you know, check me out. I have a show on the 21st. I have a show on the 4th with Reverb Hotels in Atlanta. Super excited about that. And I'm working on an album.
Yes, boo.
Summer or before then for next year. So I'm excited. I'm linking with some producers out in Houston. I'm working on some stuff and just trying to, you know, keep the vibes going and just stay connected with Black women that are like, you know, propping me up and helping me get to where I'm going, but also just like connecting and vibing and just fellowshipping. I like these questions you ask. I'm always excited.
No, I've enjoyed talking with you as well. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I think one thing that makes me different, she said, toot it. I think one thing that makes me different when it comes to being an entertainment journalist is that I actually also really study this and I really love it. And it's not just about celebrity, which is why it's easy for me to talk to everybody because I really just love artists. I think you guys are so cool. I actually wanted to go to art school in high school, and my mom made me go to the academic school, but it didn't stop my art. So this is my opportunity to connect with, like you said, like-minded people and learn from you guys. Like I said, you dropped some music theory on us, history. We talked about feminism and what it means to be a Black woman today. Like, you are so well-rounded, and I just love being around people like that who challenge me to continue to level up. So it's been nothing but a pleasure talking with you today. Despite all the technical difficulties, the devil ain't still our joy.
thank you for also just showing up for Black women and just creating space and just showing up for people that are trying to really put themselves out there authentically.
Always, girl, always. The real ones will always rise to the top. Shout out to everybody who bought a badge tonight. Y'all really showed out. Moxie, you was the plug. I don't know what it was about you. Maybe it's this blonde hair, but people were really generous tonight.
Conversation about like me hosting like a little, little open mic type thing. Come in, show some support and stuff. Buy some.
Yeah.
I think that this is, a great collective. And, I'll chop it up with you on DM a little bit later and stuff like that because I have some other things that I want to ask you for us to connect. But thank you so much for this space and this opportunity and the time. Like, thank you. You're amazing.
Oh, you are too, really. Make sure you guys follow at Moxie MVMT _. She is so lit. Her music is available all the streaming platforms, so go run up her numbers and please continue to support Black women because you win when you rocking with us. You feel me?
All right, of the Black girl name. Yeah.
Yes, the theme song we didn't even know we needed, girl. I really do look forward to our follow-up. So yes, hit me in the DMs and let's see what we can create from here. Bye.